Thank you very much, Chairman. If I may, I would like to go back to Mr. Timmons. Mr. Timmons, last year, the National Association of Manufacturers was identified as the worst obstructor of climate action in America. I doubt that was your favorite day. Um, I'm also prepared to concede that I actually think the Chamber of Commerce earned that distinction more than the National Association of Manufacturers did. You were in a virtual tie with the chamber, but never mind that. My question is, what is the National Association of Manufacturers' position on climate legislation in Congress today?
Senator, thanks for that question. This is not an unexpected question. You and I have had these conversations before, although I have to say I haven't actually seen that study that you cite. So look, as you and I have discussed before, manufacturers are very committed to the cause of climate change and to decarbonizing our environment. In fact, we've shared this with you and others, the Promise Ahead, which is our plan on taking action on climate change. And it's true that we've made some great strides as a nation to reduce emissions that cause climate change, but we've done so oftentimes in spite of policies that come out of Washington and not because of them. We've really spent far too long, I think, apportioning blame over climate change and really too little time working on solutions. And that's why we do call for action, and that's what this plan is all about.
So let's talk about solutions for a moment.
Yeah, to do that, sir.
First of all, do you see a way forward to solve the climate crisis and avert climate pandemonium without Congress stepping in some significant way?
Well, so look, I think we need a global solution that's binding, and this is something you and I have talked about before as well. And if we could get a comprehensive climate treaty that really is the foundation of the U.S. response to climate change to prevent carbon leakage and solve the underlying problems, I think that's where we need to go. And I look forward to
which Congress would then need to enforce by laws, correct? That's the way those things work.
Sure.
Yeah. So now we've gotten through the predicates and to the punchline here. Assuming that there must be significant climate legislation in Congress and that NAM would support that as part of your plan, what are the key attributes that legislation should have in order to protect and expand domestic manufacturing?
Well, as I said, it needs to be enforceable globally. We can't do this alone.
So border adjustments?
So we need to be able to enforce actions of our trading partners. I think also, Senator, we have some environmental goods agreements with Europe that we've talked about for a while. We'd like to see that get enacted. And I also think the whole purpose of today's hearing has to do with tax policy and how that can incentivize our ability to do all of the things that we've talked about, not only investing and hiring and raising wages and benefits, but also be able to take on new technologies. The R&D tax credit, for instance, is key to helping us create new technologies that will help us not only clean the air and the water and decarbonize the environment. I mean, those are things that we know where, quite frankly, we know where the world is headed. We know where we want the world to head. Manufacturers are a key to that, and we've been able to make a lot of progress in the last few years. But I believe tax policy and enforceable trade agreements, enforceable trade agreements, but also enforceable climate agreements are critical to our ability to do that.
As we try to figure out how to put enforceable climate agreements and enforceable trade agreements together, one of the things that I often hear is that if you don't have the capacity for the United States to apply border adjustments, and you have other countries that are not in step with our climate strategy, you could have leakage of jobs for the very artificial reason that they've put themselves out of step with our climate strategy. Do you agree with that way of looking at the problem that you described?
So Senator Cardin also mentioned that during this hearing. And we're happy to sit down and talk with you and your colleagues about any proposals that will help us incentivize manufacturing in the United States to meet the goals that we share on cleaning the environment.
But you can see that border leakage is a problem, potential problem.
Potential.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think my time is just out, and I will yield back. And I thank Mr. Timmons for his conversation with me.